implemented on ground. Now, our laws are very robust. Well, don't get me wrong. Our laws are very robust. But laws do not execute themselves. Laws do not in any way enforce themselves. Human beings are the ones that execute and enforce these laws. And where those persons who are charged with the enforcement of the laws are themselves corrupt, are themselves the one who have devised means to undermine the laws, then we have a very major problem, because there must be someone to enforce the law for that law to have any effect whatsoever. And for us, I think this seems to be the bane of our society, the weakening of the rule of law by the very institutions that are charged to enforce those laws. We have seen how these institutions, the police, EFCC, and those other enforcement agencies have been used in the past. And usually, the independence of these institutions are compromised from the very word go, because those in power seek to put at the helm of affairs of those institutions only persons who are loyal to them and persons who will jump at their command. So we have a major problem with regards to that. And until we're able to clean up our house with regards to the independence of these institutions and how those who are at the helm of affairs of these institutions are appointed, we will continue to have a problem. Because for now, the appointment process for the leadership of these institutions are majorly opaque and subject to the whims and caprices of those who are in power.
All right, if you're just joining us, it's Insight on Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Umoette, and my guest is Ataguba. My guest is, excuse me, seems to have mixed this up. Yeah, okay. My guest is Ataguba Aboje, who is a legal practitioner. He's also a solicitor of the Senior Court of England and Wales. And the topic, we are looking at anti-corruption campaign. Any fresh ideas? What do we do differently as a nation and collectively to address some of these issues? Inside, we take a short break now, and when we return, the phone lines will be open, and then you can call us on the numbers. But don't forget, you can also be part of the program on YouTube, our live stream. You can follow us on YouTube by typing in Insights on Citizen FM, and boom, you will be taken to the live feed where we have our live stream going on currently. Please don't go away. Insight will return in a moment. Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Umoette, and my guest is Ataguba Aboje, a legal practitioner, and we are taking a look at the anti-corruption campaign in Nigeria. Any fresh ideas? That's what we are looking at. Now the lines are open. You can call us on 0903 22 29797. That's 0903 22 29797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205, or you can call us on 0808 2222037. Any of these numbers. You can also send us a WhatsApp message telling us your name and where you're writing in from, and we will be glad to read your message. Don't also forget that you can join us on YouTube for a live stream. Type in Citizen FM 93.7 and you'll be part of the show. So let's keep the calls coming in. Let's look at some key institutions in Nigeria, Ataguba. For the mere fact that we have specialized agencies created by the Act of the National Assembly. Oh, okay. Let's take this call first. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oops, it doesn't know that we've picked the call. Okay. Well, you can still call us You can still call us on 0903 2229 797, or you can call us on 0818 205. Or in the alternative, you can call us on 0808 2222037. Any of those numbers. So we have another caller. Yeah, let's see. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. You're on air. This is Insight on Citizen FM. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. We can hear you. Oops, I think we have some challenges there, but you can call us on 0808 22037, or you can call us on 0818 2222005, or 0903 2229 797. Any of those numbers, you can also send us a WhatsApp message, and you can also be part of our live stream on YouTube. So you have multiple platforms to enjoy this program. I was talking about our desire to combat corruption. Traditionally, by law also, the Nigerian police is supposed to be the lead agency, the lead institution in combating crimes of different, which corruption is part of. But we've also had additional agencies, the ICPC, the EFCC. This also show that in the first place, that means the police was not equipped to handle the situation.
Yeah, like I said, the police ordinarily should be the lead agency because they are charged with detecting and combating and prosecuting crime in this country. And whatsoever the crime is, the police has the jurisdiction to, deal with it. But unfortunately, our history and our knowledge of the workings of the police does not give credence to their ability to deal with these issues very well. And that led to the birth and creation of these specialized agencies to deal with these crimes, particularly financial crime. You have the EFCC, you have ICPC, which ordinarily should just be a department of the police. But now, because of the perceived, or I'll say the perceived knowledge that the police was not necessarily as independent as it should be, these agencies were now created to deal with these issues and to grant them some level of autonomy and independence to deal with these issues. Ordinarily, the police should have the wherewithal to deal with this. But this is not strange, right? Because even in the developed world, like in the UK, where I'm also a legal practitioner, you have specialized agencies that deal with serious crime. You have like the National Crime Agency, NCA, in the UK, that deal with very serious crimes, and it's not a part of the police. It's a separate agency with its own purview to deal with these things, right? So you have agencies like the narcotics, right? ATF, that deals with narcotics and firearms and all that. It's not a part of the police, right? So sometimes agencies are created out of a necessity to deal with specific issues, and that's what has led to the birth and and growth of these agencies that we have now running side by side with or sharing the jurisdiction of the police.
Okay, anytime this issue comes up, one of the things that we hear is, the political will to combat corruption is lacking, and that's from successive governments. It's not necessarily this government all the time. And we also tie the ability of the political class to fight corruption. We also tie it to political interest. And that's where the issue of strong institutions come in. People don't clamor for that. Do you think we might even get to a time that no matter who is the president, no matter which party is in government, corruption will be fought dispassionately?
You know, this issue of political will, people have used that argument a lot. I think it's a very flawed argument. And the reason why I think it's a very flawed argument is because it subjects the operation of the rule of law to the will or the subjective will of whoever is in power at per time. And that in itself runs counter to the issue, to the principle that the law must be applied consistently and to every individual or citizen without discrimination, right? And the reason why we say all this is because our institutions are weak, right? That's why we always go back to the political will, the political will, the political will. And you and I know that the political will that exists in this country is a corrupt will. It's a selfish, parochial, corrupt will. And nothing good is going to come from the political will. So we must develop a system where these agencies can become independent and can thrive without, the blessings of whoever is in power. Look at what happened back in the U.S. During the Trump era. That was the clash of the so-called political will against strong and independent institutions. And at the end of the day, who won? The strong institutions won, right? No matter how you look at it or which divide you are, but the strongest institutions in America won. So, creating strong institutions, first of all, I think comes from an understanding. Citizens must understand their right and what they are entitled to and how they should be governed. I must insist on getting those rights. But if we have a situation where citizens don't even understand their rights, then we now become victims because those who are in power will now prey on the ignorance of the citizens and will do whatever it is that they want to do. See, our constitution is very clear. It says sovereignty belongs to the people and all power comes from the people. That's basically what it means. So it means that we as citizens, we can hold those who are in power accountable for whatever it is that they are doing there, because the power comes from the people. So we must understand this, enable to hold people who are in power accountable and to create strong institutions. Let me give you an example. There are times where citizens go into a state of civil disobedience, and that brings down the government in power. That happened recently, I believe, in Peru. The government had no choice but to leave. Why? Because those who are vested with the power says, we don't want you anymore because you serve our interest. And until we realize that the political class is merely a servant to the will of the people, we will continue to look at them as royalties.
Okay, I think I like the submission you just made, especially with the issue of the United States and the triumph of strong institutions. But back home in Nigeria, see, let's be frank with ourselves. The reality of this situation is that in Nigeria, the strong institutions, or in fact, the institutions are as strong as the people who occupy them at any point in time. That's the situation. Now, the next question we need to ask is it practicable to build strong institutions in Nigeria? Bearing in mind our recruitment process from day one, and some people will say the attempts at weaponizing poverty, attempt at bringing division amongst us, bringing issues of religion and everything. And some people have even said that it's difficult in Nigeria today to have a mass movement, so to speak, that will be sustained, because when that starts, people will bring up other primordial issues that would divide the people. So in practical terms, let's look at it. How do we create strong institutions?
In Nigeria, our diversity is strength, but again, it's also an Achilles heel to us, because sometimes we fracture when we need to unite, right? Because of our differences, tribe, religion, and all that. I agree that it's a Herculean task to bring everybody together to see things from the same point of view, but we must strive. And I also realize that for strong institutions to be built, you must also have, it must be built by strong individuals or strong personalities who insist that these institutions be built. Strong institutions don't build themselves, right? They are built by people.
Over the years.
And the only way we can do that in Nigeria is for us to begin to scrutinize and to take interest in governance. And elections is coming up. We must realize that elections is merely an employment process, is merely a recruitment process for persons who are going to occupy the positions in government. Therefore, we must now look at it from that point, that whoever it is that we are voting in must have the competence, must have the moral rectitude, must have the interest of the people at heart. So, this is the only way we are going to get out of it. As long as we continue to recruit persons who do not have the competence and who do not have the required skill and the required moral rectitude to execute this job, we are going to have people who will continue to abuse the system, who will continue to pilfer from the system, and who will continue to divide us as a nation. So we have a duty. It is our job to recruit, to employ, and to fill these vacancies come the next election. We must take responsibility and ensure that whoever it is that we are voting for, the person can do the job and take us to the next level.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is Insight on Citizen FM 93.7. We are discussing the anti-corruption fight. Any new ideas? What are the fresh things that we can look at? And how do we build strong institutions? How do we hold leaders to account? Very important. And my guest has been Atakuba Aboje, who is a legal practitioner, is also a solicitor of the Senior Court of England and Wales, and has been giving us insight into some of these issues. The lines are still open. You can call us on 0903 22 797. You can also call us on 0818 22 205, or you can call us on 0808 22 037, and you can also be part of our live stream on YouTube. Type in Citizen FM 93.7 and you will be part of this discussion. Once again, my name is Lawrence Umoette, and it's 10:40. That means we have about 15 minutes to wrap this up. So let the calls come in. Okay, now let's move into the public service. I want us to be practical about how we address some of these issues, and that is it's no gainsaying that without a vibrant judiciary, the anti-corruption war will be meaningless. And let's start by looking at the challenges of the judiciary. You are a member of that. You might not be on the bench. You are in the bar, and so you have an idea of what happens in the judiciary. In practical terms, what are those challenges that we need to address first before we even talk about making sure that this campaign takes off seamlessly?
The major issue we need to address is one of independence. And this brings me to the point of how judges are recruited. Now, the judiciary has now become the new battleground for politicians who are now putting their relatives, family members, and whoever it is that they can control to the bench. Because politicians have now realized that you sometimes win the elections in their courtroom. So they all know that from the polling units, most of those elections are heading straight for the courtrooms. So you're now having a situation where politicians have their daughters, they have their sons, they have their wives appointed as judges. And tell me, how is it going to go if a matter comes before a judge who has an affiliation with a politician? How will the independence of that court and that decision be perceived by the public? We see, it is a principle of law that justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. And what that simply means is that if the ordinary man on the street cannot say that that judgment is fair, then it is not fair. Because justice must not only be done, it must also be seen to be done. Because justice thrives on the trust of people, of those who go before it. So if we now have a situation where politicians are now filling the vacancies and pushing their friends and families to the bench, then the independence of the judiciary is already compromised. And that is what we are seeing now.
But I think some people would argue that what is wrong in politicians pushing people to the bench if they are qualified? It's like you questioning why would a politician push his brother or his son to become a pilot, to become a medical doctor, if they are qualified on their own right.
That is a valid argument, right? It's a valid argument, but it is flawed. Flawed in the sense that the recruitment process itself lends itself to influence from the outside. Now, competence is not taken into consideration in most of the recruitment.
Okay.
I'm a lawyer. I've been in the field for many years. Even as lawyers, there are certain judges that we see on the bench, and we are shocked. And we're like, how did he get to the bench? Because we know his competence. Some judges have never practiced. They have never practiced in their entire lives, and they are on the bench trying to decide decisions. How well do you think that judge is going to decide these things?
So that calls to question the competence of the NJC, don't you think?
It does. And I boldly say it does. Because sometimes the quality of judgments that you even get sometimes from the bench is shocking. And some of them are laughable. I have quite a few of them that are before the Court of Appeal right now. And I'm like, even a diligent, newly qualified lawyer will not give this kind of decisions. There are major blunders in some of these decisions. And you're wondering, how did this happen? And this can be traced down to how persons are recruited to the bench. So we're talking of competence. Recently, we have a situation where senior advocates applied to be judges, judges before the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal. And none of them were taken as judges. Surprisingly, a senior advocate of Nigeria applied to be a judge, and none of them scaled through the entire process. So he brings to the question, if someone who is an accomplished advocate, who has advocated before all the courts of record in this country, who has been recognized as a senior advocate of Nigeria, has applied, he has put in several years and has applied to be a judge, none of them scaled through the process. Okay. And those who were given are persons who let me not say what I want to say.
Okay, that's just one aspect, issue of competence. Some would also say there's also the issue of corruption, and in this too, your colleagues in the bar are not spared, because a lot of times allegations fly around that even the politicians that we always accuse of trying to interfere, trying to bribe the judges, do that with the connivance of some dubious lawyers.
Well, that statement is not wrong. It's not wrong, but I must say that the majority of practicing lawyers and the majority of persons who are within the judiciary, they are honest persons. There are just a few persons, like in any profession, like in any society, you will find the bad eggs. And I cannot deny that there are no bad eggs within the bar or the bench. But I tell you that they are in the minority. Majority of persons who I know, who are lawyers, who are judges, they are hardworking, they are honest and hardworking, God-fearing persons doing an honest job.
Okay, let's move on. We've talked about corruption, we've talked about capacity. There are also other issues, institutional issues, the use of technology, the use of the lack of manpower, and so many other things that will also aid the judges in dispensation of justice. You have backload of cases all the time, and this also causes problem at the end of the day.
Yeah.
How do we address some of this?
See, Lawrence, I'm an enthusiast when it comes to technology. Right? Recently, throughout last night, I slept at about 4:30 this morning. And I was checking out this new phenomenon that's godlike, Chat GPT. That, I mean, the AI is just out of this world, right? I come to court and I see judges still writing in longhand, taking notes in longhand, taking proceedings in longhand. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? We have technologies, we have softwares that do transcription. As you speak, it transcribes. Why are judges still taking proceedings in longhand? Do you understand the man-hour that it takes for a judge to record proceedings in longhand? When you say something, the judge will have to take it down.
And at a point, we'll have to stop you to finish.
He has to stop you to take that. There are cameras, there are recorders. Why do we go through all that? Why are we still stuck in the Stone Ages? Now, this is a major factor, because recording of proceedings is the official record of everything that is said in court. And on the basis of that, decisions are made. Now, tell me, which is more accurate? The recording in longhand by trying to recall what the submissions a counsel has made, or the recording using camera and audio recording? Which is more accurate? So I find it quite disheartening that the NJC and the various heads of court have not been able to find a way to employ these technologies to aid the judicial process. Most of the cases that we have, I mean, they are waiting persons who are awaiting trial and all that, the backlogs that we have. Last time I was before the Federal High Court, and one judge was saying that she has over 500 cases. One judge, over 500 cases. I recall the FCT High Court, some judges, the chief judge had to ask some judges to return case files back to him for reassignment to new judges because those judges were overworked. I have done a case that lasted for over nearly 10 years. Why should that happen? I was representing over 120-something persons over a matter that should have been decided in less than 2 or 3 months. That matter lasted for nearly 10 years. Why? So these are things that, common sense, the era that we are in, the availability of technology, the availability of the expertise, and the knowledge. It's available. All these things are available. And that it can be employed to reduce the backlog and to give access of justice to people who need it in time.
All right. I think we have about 3 minutes to wrap this up. But we can't go without talking about the issue of the monetization of our electoral process. That's another area where you have a lot of corruption, allegations of corruptions and everything, from the recruitment process, the primaries by political parties, the campaign season and period. Even though the Electoral Act has a spending cap and so many other things, most of the time these are not followed, and even INEC, I doubt, will have the capacity to effectively monitor the spending pattern of those political parties. Is this something that we can address?
Yeah, it's something that can be addressed. But I think the focus needs to shift from INEC. Now, INEC's capacity to address these issues is very limited. And the election, it's something that there are several agencies that are responsible for certain parts of the election, like security. INEC, do not have the wherewithal to deal with security. So security is handled by the agencies charged with security. So dealing with this issue of monetization is having been prescribed by the Electoral Act, right? Prosecution is not done by INEC. The Electoral Act does not give INEC prosecutorial powers, but rather the agencies, the traditional agencies that are already charged with dealing with crime, they have the prosecutorial powers. So everybody needs to work together to be able to achieve disclosures. First of all, financial disclosures for the political parties, financial disclosures for the politicians themselves, and financial disclosures for interest groups. Because sometimes these monies are spent or are given by interest group rather than the political parties themselves. They have shadow groups who do the spending. So we must be able to track these things. And I think it's quite laudable for the CBN to, try to, deal with this issue by reducing the cash in the system and trying to ensure that everything is done electronically for easy tracking and monitoring. So if we're able to get this right, if we're able to nip this monetization of the electoral process in the board, particularly towards the next coming election, I think the result we are going to get from that electoral process will be seen as fair.
All right, I think we'll leave it at that. Taguba Aboje, Solicitor of the Senior Court of England and Wales. Thank you so much for your intervention so far on Insight. And we hope it will not take another 2 or 3 months before we have you back on Insight. It's been such a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's our package for today. Insight returns on Monday. With another interesting topic. My name is Lawrence Umoette. News on the Hour comes up at 11. Have a beautiful day ahead.